This boot is okay.
Started by Klaus Martens, a doctor in the German army during the 1940s. Yeah, that one. 1952, Doc Martens moved most of their production to the UK, where they were marketed to old ladies who loved gardening and had bad feet. Because they were so uncool, English punks started to wear them in the 60s, kind of like when millennials discovered thrift stores. After almost going bankrupt in 2006, they moved production to China and Thailand and started marketing to teenage girls and have never been more successful.
So where do I stand on Doc Martens? Black combat boots, like Doc Martens, they're kind of a reoccurring fashion fad. And like all fads, you have to get the right one. It reminds me so much of back in the day when millennials were super into yo-yos, and I had the Duncan Imperial and all my friends had a Yomega X-Brain, and I was just totally left out in the cold. Even though my yo-yo was technically better, it wasn't the real deal. So ultimately, that's what Doc Martens is. It's not technically the best boot, not by a long shot, but it's the only black combat boot with a sweet yellow stitch around the edge here and that weird translucent sole. My biggest issue with Doc Martens is the leather quality. It's thin, corrected, and honestly, it's pretty stiff. A quick hunt through other reviews shows that the leather on the Doc Martens starts to wear through and crack at about 2 years, and any halfway decent leather is gonna last much longer than that. It gets even worse when you start looking at the patent leather versions or especially the vegan leather version. That thing is just terrible. It's not that I think the Doc Marten 1460 is terrible quality for $150, but I think if you're willing to invest a little bit more money, you can get something that is vastly, vastly better. For instance, take a look at the Beckett Simonon Lopez and the Thursday Explorer. Both of these boots are really, really well made with some of the best quality materials in this price point. So if you're picking them up, you can expect them to last 5 to 7 years with a little bit of care. Doc Martens are technically Goodyear welted, but they go through a super interesting process in their construction where the outsole is actually melted and fused to the rubber welt. This helps increase some water resistance, and on the upside, you won't have the outsole kind of separating from the midsole. It's gonna stay put. On the downside, because of this construction, it would cost just as much to get the boot resoled as it would to just buy a new boot, so really that kind of makes it not economically feasible to resole these ever. I gotta say, this airwear sole is super, super comfortable. So if you are working in something like retail or a grocery store and you're on your feet a lot, this helps so much with shock absorption. So that is one of the best things about Doc Martens is the shock absorption here is crazy. It gets a little bit rougher when you're walking a lot, that things change a little bit with the comfort, but in terms of just like standing in one place, this is a truly fantastic boot if you're just standing in one place. The 1460 only comes in full sizes and that standard D width. They're a little bit large, so if you are a half size, like a 10.5, then you should go to a size 10. That said, because there are only full sizes, you should never go a full size down, meaning that if you're a size 10 in sneakers, go with the size 10 in Doc Martens. Here's my final verdict on the Doc Marten 1460. This is a trendy boot, and honestly, I'm just not a huge fan of trendy fashion boots. I'm past the phase of spending as little money as possible for sort of the minimum viable sort of footwear option, and that's what Doc Martens is. Really, it's a pretty inexpensive boot at $150. When you're in the boot world, that's pretty cheap, and the quality reflects that. There's some cool things about the Doc Martens 1460, like, for instance, all the different color options they have. They have like teal, yellow, white, tons of different really awesome looking boots that, while they're not for me, I can definitely see them appealing to the guy who's more on the trendy side of fashion. I say if you want a pair of Doc Martens, go for it. They're not terrible boots, but after a year of solid wear, this is gonna wear through, it's gonna crack, your pinky toe might even start showing out. I saw some reviews where that was happening to people after about a year. So I would caution you to get a second pair of boots or shoes at the same time that are a lot more durable. And I would wear Doc Martens more as like a every so often, but if they're your daily boot, they're just not gonna last longer than a year. And for me, $150 for a year of wear, that's not really worth it when I know I can go get a $200 boot that's gonna last me 3, 4, or 5 years. For my money, if I was looking at a fashionable combat boot, I would probably go with something like the Thursday Explorer. It's $100 more expensive, but it's also gonna last 5 to 10 times longer, so the value is just so much better there. Obviously, the Thursday Explorer isn't the same exact style as the Doc Marten, and just like any trend, if you don't have the exact copy, it's kind of like showing up at a Pokemon party with a deck of Digimon cards, like you're out. Like I said, the Doc Marten 1460 isn't terrible, but if you plan on wearing them as your main boot, don't expect them to last longer than a year.